Good evening, you're watching Estuary News, I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, the Queen is to visit Hull, no further action against stewards at Stevenage Football Club, and a community centre in Scunthorpe is nominated for a national award. And later in tonight's programme, Fred brings us the latest news from the City of Culture. And before that, David Power on a new open art exhibition in North East Lincolnshire. The Queen will visit Hull on the 16th of November. Buckingham Palace announced the trip today, though there are no official details of where she'll visit. She last came to the city in 2009 when she opened the new Paragon interchange and the oncology unit at Castle Hill Hospital in Cottingham. The trust that runs Hull Royal Infirmary says it has no plans to use private accommodation for patients waiting to be discharged from hospital. They've responded after Southend University Hospital NHS Foundation Trust said it was considering a pilot scheme to free up hospital beds by using the spare rooms of local residents. 30 patients waiting to be discharged will stay with prospective hosts who can earn up to £1,000 a month. The hosts will need to pass security checks before they're approved. The hospital said they're still awaiting a final approval for the scheme. The Mariners Trust say they're bitterly disappointed by the Football League's decision not to take any specific action over the behaviour of stewards at Stevenage. The Grimsby Town Supporters Trust complained to Stevenage Football Club after stewards asked female fans to show their bras during security checks and even asked if they could feel the bras. Female stewards carried out the searches, but the Trust said they were in full view of male stewards, fans and police. They deemed them a gross invasion of privacy. The checks took place prior to the League Two fixture between the clubs on the 19th of August. The Football League said it's carried out a comprehensive review and that no action is to be taken under its rules. A community centre in Scunthorpe has been nominated for a national award. The Westcliff Precinct, a hub which offers a range of services for the community, has been nominated for the Best Project Award in the Resolve Antisocial Behaviour Awards. The nomination recognises the hub's work in tackling antisocial behaviour in the Westcliff area in the past 18 months. ONGO's Tenancy Enforcement Officer Neil Patrick says the Westcliff Precinct plays an integral role in tackling antisocial behaviour.
It feels fantastic. It's obviously recognition for the hard work that's gone on in the past 18 months. It's a partnership agency approach to safer neighbourhoods for Northamptonshire Council, ONGO Homes and in partnership with Humberside Police to try and reduce antisocial behaviour in Westcliff, and we think that the Westcliff Hub plays an integral part in that locally. It's a one-stop shop where people can come and report things, particularly antisocial behaviour. That's our bread and butter. That's what we want to try and deal with. And it took a long time to break down barriers for people to have confidence to come in and report things. And with having a multi-agency approach, we feel that we can deal with most things that people come in and report. Even if it needs to be anonymous, we're happy to do that, and we're happy to take people's complaints forward to try and deal and resolve them as best we can. Obviously, in due time, there's £8 million being spent on Westcliff, so it's a really exciting time for the area where ONGO's investing. There's new shops, there's off to be a new community building called the Ark, so hopefully we'll have to just pick up and move into the Ark, and obviously this will continue to run in conjunction with the Ark and a new community centre there, new shops, new housing, so it's a really exciting time for Westcliff.
And of course, ONGO is the housing association in North Lincolnshire. More flats are set to be demolished in Immingham. 7 blocks on the Washdyke estate will be emptied and demolished under regeneration plans by Shoreline, the housing association in North East Lincolnshire. Shoreline launched a consultation last year about demolishing up to 18 blocks on the estate as part of its long-term economic interests. 53% of residents were in favour of demolition. They'll be rehoused. A new service has been launched at Hull Central Library today. The Universal Culture offer aims to increase engagement in the arts and culture through public libraries. The scheme was launched by the Society of Chief Librarians, a very quiet society, last year to bring new cultural experiences to local communities. Hull Library is the latest to benefit from the national scheme, which will see people enjoy a range of cultural events and activities across libraries in the city. Brig is set to unveil a series of Christmas-themed events for the market town. Devised by the Brigtown Business Partnership, the Tree of Light will return for its third year. The town will also see the launch of the Festival of Christmas Trees and Christmas Wreaths. The events are designed to bring more footfall into the town and encourage the community to come together. Fred McNamara has the story.
Brigtown Business Partnership are gearing up for a series of Christmas events designed to flood the town in a variety of festive trees. The Tree of Light returns for its third year and provides an opportunity for residents to remember their loved ones.
The idea is that people can actually remember their loved ones by buying a memory card to place on the tree, and then the money will then actually go to our charities, nominated charities, which are Carer Support and a muscular dystrophy charity for North Lincolnshire. It's proved to be very successful. Numbers of people have attended the informal services increase each time. We're very grateful for the involvement of St John's Church and for Father Owen, who comes along to deliver an informal service.
Alongside this, the Festival of Christmas Trees and Christmas Wreaths allows local businesses to join in with the festive activities.
The idea is that businesses and organisations can sponsor a tree or a wreath. There is no cost for them to enter. They actually provide the tree and the wreath and decorate it, place it in the tree to encourage people to come into Brig, to go to the church to have a look at the trees and wreaths that are on display.
It just makes Brig a more inviting place to visit, especially around Christmas. There's more in place. The Brigtown Partnership do work hard at organising these things for visitors to come and see. It also increases footfall and makes it far easier for the independents. We open extra hours and we all work together basically, and it just is a great atmosphere. Lots to do, lots to see. Christmas market, they just organise so much.
It brings the community together. It involves the churches in the community. Churches aren't sort of separate institutions just for their own members, that they're ministering to a community, and of course town people share it in our church life. So all these events have helped to bring the churches out in the community and the community into our churches, supporting a fairly light-hearted, simple celebration of what Christmas really means.
The work from Brigtown Business Partnership hopes to make the market town a festive hub for Christmas in North Lincolnshire. From McNamara, Estuary News.
An open art exhibition will be held in Cleethorpes during December and January. Anyone who lives in North East Lincolnshire is eligible to enter up to 2 works of art. And I'm joined now by David Power, Principal Arts Officer for Links Inspire, to tell me more. David, thanks very much for coming in.
No worries.
An open art exhibition, just what does that mean?
That means that anybody who lives in North East Lincolnshire is eligible to enter artworks, regardless of what they've done before in terms of experience or education. It's open to anybody. They can enter 1 or 2 artworks. And
when we say artworks, does it have to be paintings or 2-dimensional art, or does sculpture and other things come in as well?
This time it has to be 2-dimensional for logistical reasons. We'd love to get to the point where we could do 3D art, video work, installation work, but I'm afraid that's a few years down the line. But all sorts of 2D work, whether it's drawings, watercolours, oil on canvas, anything of that sort, it's 2D will be eligible.
You mentioned video installations. I was thinking of sculptures, but you're much more modern than I am. What's the closing date? How do people...
17th of December at midnight is the closing date. What we're asking people to do is to take photographs of the artwork they wish to enter to be considered for the exhibition, email it to myself by midnight on the 17th of December, telling us the size of the artwork, the name of the artwork, and the medium that they're created in, whether they're oil on canvas, watercolour, whatever. We've got a panel of judges which are led by Alf Ludlam, who is a very well-known artist locally. He was an art teacher at Grimsby College for many years. Him and his little team will make the selection. We reckon we'll select about 30 artworks, and those selected, we'll invite them to bring the artworks in themselves. We'll install the exhibition, and it will be open on the 4th of December. There'll be 2 prizes that are available. A first prize of £50, a second of £25 for the best and second best artwork. And throughout the exhibition, there'll also be an opportunity for the public themselves to vote on what they think their favourite artwork is, and that will also get a mention. So it'll be interesting to see if they agree with our judges.
So it's like a little salon, as it were.
A little salon,
and
yes.
and the works will be, or if the artist chooses, the works will be for sale.
That's
so
right.
They could be going for a lot more than 50 or 25 quid.
Yes. And having done earlier projects with different creative people, writers, musicians, and I know the local art scene as well. There's so many very creative people in the area. So if you wanted to support an artist, get a really good artwork as a Christmas present, it would be the ideal time
So we'll be hoping
to do
for
so.
lots of little orange round stickers.
We
on
certainly will. We've ordered them now.
the sold ones. How many do you think you can hang? How many artists can you represent?
We think about 30. If the maximum size is 1 metre by 1 metre, and that's purely for logistical reasons. If everyone enters paintings of that size,
It's not the Royal Academy Summer Show.
It's not the Royal, and it won't be as cluttered either.
No.
It'll be 15, 18, but if there's an average spread of sizes, we would reckon about 30. Yeah.
And if you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
You've got a lovely new room at Cleethorpes Library.
Yes.
What sort of standard are you expecting?
Well, I think the standard will be very high. I've been to other exhibitions, obviously, in the area, and there's a very lively visual art scene, painters of all types, and I think the standard will be very high. Surprising, I think people will be impressed, pleasantly surprised.
Just before we go, remind us of that email address to send works to.
dave.power@linksinspire.com, and it's all on the Links Inspire website.
And by the 17th of December. David, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Join me after the break. Luke will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports news and the latest news from Hull with Fred. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, all the latest sports news with Luke, and Fred brings us news from Hull 2017. Network Rail has called for lorry drivers across Hull to be aware of the height of their vehicles. New figures reveal that Stone Ferry Bridge has been hit over 30 times since 2009. Vehicles crashing into railway bridges cause hours of delays to train passengers, with almost 2,000 bridge strikes every year. It costs the taxpayer over £20 million in damages and delays. Network Rail's Bridge Bash campaign is aimed at HGV drivers and haulage companies. 43% of lorry drivers don't know the size of their vehicle. Drivers in Scunthorpe are set to face delays. An 8-week roadworks improvement scheme starts on Saturday at the junction of Grange Lane South and the A18 Queensway. Work will also be carried out on the B1501 Grange Lane North. The works are scheduled to be complete by the 17th of December. Hull schools will play host to celebrations of 6 jazz icons next month. A gala concert will be performed by the New Civilization Orchestra, led by award-winning pianist and composer Peter Edwards. It'll include young musicians from St Mary's College, Kelvin Hall School and Hull Youth Orchestra. Over 50 musicians will mark 100 years since the birth of artists including Ella Fitzgerald, Dizzy Gillespie and Buddy Rich, all born in 1917. The event takes place at Hull Truck Theatre on the 18th of November. An audience with Alan Bennett, or rather an audience without Alan Bennett, takes place in Cleethorpes next month. It includes video appearances by the author and extracts from his book Keeping On, read by local playwright Andy Evans, who will play Alan Bennett for the evening. Audience members can get involved with the event by reading diary entries aloud on stage. Bennett's one of the UK's leading dramatists and generally regarded as a bit of a national treasure. The event takes place on the 10th of November at the Albert Room in Cleethorpes Library. And I'm joined now by Fred McNamara with the latest news from Hull City of Culture 2017. Fred, you cultural fellow, what have you got for me?
Well, Hugh, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
It's the last few days of the Hull Festival of Architecture. That's been going on since the 2nd of October, obviously this month, and it's going on for a few more dates, the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th and 31st of October.
So all the other days left in October?
Pretty much,
okay.
Yes. Yes, there are a range of workshops and guest speakers are coming to the Hull School Art and Design to educate and delight the people of Hull all about architecture.
Everyone's welcome?
Everyone is indeed welcome, and it is free.
Well, that's always very good to see. Architects get a very rough time, and quite rightly. I was walking around Hull the other day, and I thought this is absolutely fantastic architecture in the middle of the town, Victorian, Georgian architecture.
Indeed.
And then this horrible architecture surrounding it.
Well, you can't have everything, Hugh.
One does one's best. But anyway,
Well, exactly,
all I was doing was trying to make a compliment to the architecture of the middle of Hull. Anyway, it's absolutely fantastic. If people want to get involved in that, how can they come?
They can go on the Hull City of Culture website to find out more. Otherwise, just turn up. They happen first thing at 10 a.m. and, as I say, they're free.
Okay.
So come along as and when you can.
Excellent. Building on that.
Very good, Hugh. I like it. Building on that. Picture House, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now, I should reiterate, not the Rocky Horror Picture Show is coming to Hull, but rather the film itself instead of a live performance. It's part of Back to Ours Festival, and that's been bringing, that's themed around the idea of bringing culture to quite literally the doorsteps of Hull. And this is going to be basically a night where you can come along to the Sirius Academy West, dress up in your finest Rocky Horror Picture themed gallery and enjoy the film. Who wouldn't want to enjoy that film?
It's a bit of a classic, isn't it? I think
It
it's
is.
maybe a generational thing. My generation was absolutely devoted to that film because it seems so naughty.
Well, indeed, and I think my generation perhaps still a little bit, perhaps shocked is the word, because it's quite an extreme, but enjoyably extreme film.
I'm wearing my fishnets under the suit, you know.
Gosh, that was far more than I needed to know, Hugh.
Moving on.
Moving on, Substance Live. It's a music festival, but it's a music festival all about the future. The future...
Substance Live?
Substance Live, yes. It's a music festival geared around future artists of the North. That's happening at Hull City Hall on the 9th of December. Tickets are priced between £10 and £12, but you do get a marvellous looking array of new and exciting acts for all genres.
Okay, Substance is a curious title to give it to, isn't it?
It is.
It's usually one thinks of it as something that's abused. But
Well, perhaps.
no doubt not on this occasion.
Perhaps it's meant to be something that you should experience, hence the word.
I'm missing
substance.
something there, clearly, I expect.
Well, clearly you and I will have to go and experience this.
That sounds like an excellent
festival.
idea. Okay. Got anything else?
We have indeed. We have Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Now, unlike Rocky Horror, this is indeed a live play. It is coming to Hull New Theatre. It's running from October 31st to November 4th, and it is starring, in the lead role, Joe McElderry of X Factor fame.
I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with the gentleman's work.
Well, I believe X Factor is the one where they do all the singing.
No, I've heard of X Factor. I don't know this chap, I'm afraid. But anyway, he's clearly good enough to be leading in the taking the lead in this splendid musical.
Clearly, yes.
Rather like architecture, people have violent views about Andrew Lloyd Webber's oeuvre as well, don't they? You a fan?
I should say not.
No?
He's not really my cup of tea. I've never really, perhaps, not so much enjoyed, but they're just not really my cup of tea. I've seen a couple of his plays. I was in no rush to see any more of his plays.
All right.
I'm afraid so.
Okay, I wouldn't call them plays, but I'll just add one quick extra note. If you haven't seen it yet, the Turner and a Whale exhibition at the Maritime Museum in Hull is very well worth a visit. It's a bit sad to see all those beautiful animals being killed, but Turner did know how to do a bit of a daub, didn't he? Absolutely magnificent. It's a movement from realism to kind of abstract expressionism.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, highly recommended.
I should
Thank you very much, Fred.
Thank you very much.
Now, here's Luke with all the sports news.
Hull City boss Leonard Sklutsky says he's pleased with his team's spirit this season as they all fight for a place in his starting 11. He then continued to single out Jackson Irvine as a key example on how he wants his players to react when they find themselves out of the squad. Sklutsky believes that this is the same situation for a lot of players and it's all about character, he said. We have a lot of very serious sportsmen here, and if you are a serious sportsman, then you should never be afraid of competition. You are only ready to face it. The Tigers are at home to Nottingham Forest on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Grimsby Town boss Russell Slade has been pressing the importance of developing young players so that he can eventually replace the older players in the team. The Mariners' current defence is mainly aged over 30, but Slade is targeting younger players aged around 19 so that they can be sent out on loan and then eventually begin to replace some of the older players.
He's different to what we've got in the, he's quite explosive, he's quite pacey going forward, more aggressive going forward. and he's young. He's only 19 as well. So, you know, that's a kind of age group we're kind of looking at to make sure that we've got some good young players coming through, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. You know, to back up. So we've got something to work with, and ultimately you hope to replace. You know, but we're working on that. It's a process. But you know, it's something that we think is really important. Reece has gone out just recently. He scored a great goal. I went to that game, Barrow and Chester. And he scored a great goal from full-back. I was really pleased with his energy. Got a great goal from the edge of the box. So it's good for them when they do go out as well and get the football. It's so important.
Scunthorpe United goalkeeper Matt Gilks is asking his team to believe that they can get promoted this season after finishing third last season. He went on to say that we believe we are good enough, and if we believe 100% that we can come in, work hard, not get beaten, and really believe that we can get out of this league, then we probably will. The Iron will be looking to continue to build up their victory against Peterborough last week when they go away to Oldham on Saturday. Kick-off for that one is also at 3 o'clock. And finally on to North Ferriby United, who travel to North Leamington on Saturday in a pay what you want match. Leamington are unbeaten in their last 6 matches, and these include a victory against Salford City and a point against league leaders Harrogate Town on Saturday. The Villagers remain rooted at the bottom of the table and risk being cut adrift, and really need to work on what is a very poor goal difference. And kick-off is also at 3 o'clock. That's all for the sport.
That's it for tonight. Thanks very much, Luke, for the sports. If you've a story for us or any other comment, criticism or compliment, then there's Facebook or Twitter. Details below us. Email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553, or you can write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN345BQ. Until tomorrow, good evening.